I'm actually really excited about this video talking about new Z-move effects for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. We've already seen Dusk Lycanroc, we've already seen Kommo-o, and because of this, I feel like anything is possible. So yeah, with the Dusk Lycanroc, we get some pretty nifty effects. We remove terrain. So that means, what about setting terrain? Can we also set weather from an exclusive Pokemon? You know, what's a 7th generation or an exclusive Z-move candidate that might actually be able to benefit from just having instant weather or something like that? Also, other modifications, other changes. I feel that this needed a little bit of an extra buff though, like removing entry hazards, removing all weather effects, removing all terrain. I think that would have been something that pushed Lycanroc over the edge. That would have been pretty awesome. And then as we've seen with Kommo-o, Kommo-o's is just ridiculous. I still don't know what to think. When did this video came out August 18th. It's October, and I'm still not okay with this happening right now. That it still does double damage, it does split damage, signature move, buff damage, and then boost all the stats by 1. This is like the most insane thing we have ever seen. So that's going to be another issue, is that everything is going to be competing with a pseudo-legendary that +1s all of its stats. So that means exclusive Z moves, they could be absurdly powerful, but also they might have just like niche little mechanics that can come into play as well. If you already plan on running Lycanroc, that could work. I think we might actually see a little bit of variance as well. That Z moves might be so good and have so many niche cases that Pokemon might just run 2 Z crystals on a team, kind of like have 2 Mega Stones on a team. Sometimes you just catch the opponent off guard, like, oh, these 2 Pokemon can both Mega Evolve. Which one's going to pull it off, and they're both just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. That might be an interesting side effect. Problem is, then you're running without an item on a Pokemon that really isn't that insane to begin with because they needed the massive buff from the Z move. So that's something to consider. But yeah, with Dusk Lycanroc and Kommo-o, I feel like we can come up with a lot of really cool things. I'm basing this off of my top 10 Pokemon that need exclusive Z moves video. I did that like last week or something. I saw a lot of cool recommendations such as Malamar. Malamar's Topsy-Turvy getting Trick Room. I think that would be absolutely awesome because Malamar, it's in this very strange state that Topsy-Turvy is one of the craziest moves in the game. Every once in a while, you bring it out, any Pokemon that's setting up, unless they already have like an absurd amount of speed and offenses, you just kind of get to flip that, you force them out, and Malamar gets to have some kind of advantage off that. Also, Trick Room, other combos, Malamar does some cool things, and what would work better than also flipping stats, but flipping speed? Z Topsy-Turvy Malamar setting Trick Room. Now, I feel like it might need a little bit of an extra effect, like maybe -1 speed, +1 special attack, or something like that. That way, Malamar gets to hit a little harder. Actually, I think Malamar is actually a physical Pokemon. So, +1 to the dominant offense. Yeah, okay, so +1 the attack. Because I remember, it does superpower shenanigan things on the contrary ability. And it is mostly a physical Pokemon. So yeah, +1 attack, -1 speed, Trick Room happens. And that's mostly going to be for doubles, but also could be very powerful in singles. My only issue here is like, yeah, you're either just going to get like the Topsy-Turvy effect, which is kind of niche. You know, if the opponent hasn't set up any stats, but you want to use Z Topsy-Turvy to get Trick Room, that means you're pretty much just using your one and only Z move for Trick Room, and then you're kind of gaining the effects of a superpower while being just a little more proficient by losing speed in Trick Room or something like that. So it would need to be a little crazy. Like, I don't know how crazy I want to take it. No, whenever you're trying to design a concept, like say if you were to design a champion in League of Legends or to introduce a new gun in PUBG or CSGO, if you're passionate enough about it to kind of make that thing happen, naturally you're going to want to overtune it. Or if I said, hey, I want to buff to Dunsparce, let's give it +30 to all of its base stats, you know, it's kind of hard to have an unbiased, very balanced look at something that you want to see get a buff or a change. And I feel that when talking about these Z moves, where do we draw the line? Do we just say every Pokemon that wants to get a Z move can get +1 everything? So that's a 600 base stat total Pokemon getting +1 everything while doing damage. What does that mean? Where do we draw the line? Can Z Topsy-Turvy give +1? Well, actually, because of contrary, I think they would have to like make it to where that just avoids contrary altogether. But you know, it gives +1 to all the stats for Malam, or +1 to everything, -1 speed. Maybe something like that for Z Topsy-Turvy. Would that be too good? Would that be too bad? Would that still work with setting Trick Room? I don't know. It's a free Trick Room. Frees up move slot sets. Will that make Topsy-Turvy more viable? Will that make Malamar more viable? If this doesn't get a Z move though, I think it might also need +1 priority. Because Topsy-Turvy is such a niche and exclusive move. Only Malamar and Inkay get it. So, if you have like a super incredibly busted move on a Pokemon, and the Pokemon itself isn't that fantastic, Does that create balance, or does that mean Malamar is now going to be like the next super amazing Pokemon just because we give it priority on Topsy-Turvy, and then that shuts out sweeping only if the opponent's running it? But Malamar does have like a lot of weaknesses, so I think there could be some interesting changes to at least Topsy-Turvy, if not a Z move. Another thing I want to see, Z Gravity effect. That would be cool. I love Gravity. Gravity, I would say it's my favorite field condition just because of the cheeky things you can do with it. The accuracy is multiplied by 5/3. Hypnosis has 100% accuracy under Gravity. That is amazing. That is one of like the coolest things I've ever heard. And then you can do all kinds of other combos. Blizzard. Blizzard gets treated like you're in Hail because Hail doesn't give Blizzard bonus damage, but makes the accuracy 100%. Hurricane, Thunder, other moves like Zap Cannon and stuff, it doesn't get perfect accuracy, but it means like you can do these weird extra bits of things. It grounds Pokemon that have Levitate and Flying Pokemon as well, so you can hit them with Earthquake if that plays into your strategy, or at least have ground moves come to play. And at the very least, I want to see more stats as well. That Z moves are in a pretty weird spot because, like, okay, we have status Z moves. Status Z moves can't be taunted. That's freaking good. Like, is that enough just to make it to where you can just say, hey, if this is like a game-changing status move, you know what's going to happen. But again, it falls into some very niche play. And then we have this. Like, come on, Game Freak. You can do better than this. Like, what's this? What's this right here? Just everything is reset lowered stats. Some moves don't even have a secondary effect for when it comes to their Z move, and you only get one Z move. Everything is going to be competing with Komo-o and potentially stronger introduced Z moves, as well as Z moves that are already getting a lot of play on just very powerful sweeping Pokemon. Because, hey, you give Pheromosa a Z move, something's going to die. You make High Jump Kick a Z move, something's going to die, and there's not going to be any kind of, like, risk to that if the opponent goes for Protect or something. Now, if they are Ghost-type Pokemon, that is a thing, and then all those other aspects, it does get pretty technical, but overall, I think that some of these, yeah, we just have random raises something by 1. I would like to see Gravity do a bit more than just +1 special attack. I feel that there needs to be, like, exclusive status Z crystals. Like, that just sounds way too weird and way too complicated. But yeah, if we were to give a Pokemon that sets Gravity when it uses a Z move, what Pokemon would it be? Would it be a Pokemon that has access to Gravity already? Would it be a Pokemon that doesn't have access to Gravity? There's already a lot of Pokemon that can do these kind of things. What move would it be? What Pokemon would it be? I mean, I guess Dialga, Palkia, like, they could maybe have an exclusive Z move, but that's legendaries. You don't even get to, like, utilize it in normal play and stuff. There's special moves and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So yeah, it's like, what Pokemon, the theme of what Pokemon matches enough to where you can give it Insta-Gravity as well as maybe a damaging effect or another status effect. I just want to see it work because Gravity is such a cool thing. It's such an interesting mechanic that doesn't get enough play. So either a buff to Z Gravity, a change to Z status moves in general, but unfortunately I can't really think of a Pokemon that would just like come in, do a move, and then set Gravity. But it looks like Game Freak's full of surprises, because I couldn't have predicted any of these in my craziest and wildest fever-induced dreams. So, there we go. Terrain moves. So yeah, because terrain can be removed, what about other Pokemon that can set terrain? Now, terrain setting is in a very interesting state. Terrains are very good moves, but as we learned with the 6th generation, no one wants to use a terrain move, and as we saw in the 7th generation, putting terrain moves on abilities is just a little too powerful. So would a Z terrain move work out as well? I'm not talking about like Z electric terrain, Z whatever terrain, or something like that. But if you use a Z move, it does damage. I think some people have been saying like Zing Zap to Getamaru setting electric terrain. Now, there's a lot of Pokemon that learn the terrain moves. Like, you would be surprised by the amount of Pokemon that learn grassy terrain. You know, there's level up, there's breeding. That's actually a pretty solid amount. So we just have like a random grass Pokemon just kind of use something, and then like I could see like Leaf Storm. You know, Z Leaf Storm on a certain Pokemon setting grassy terrain. I could see like those massive ones maybe doing some kind of extra field condition as well. Z, like, changing Thunder into setting terrain on a very, very proficient or very needed Electric-type Pokemon, that can maybe be something. It's just, like I said, it's kind of awkward. Like, except for Malamar, I don't really have any thoughts about this Pokemon using this exact move, getting this exact effect. I'm just kind of thinking, like, yeah, we could maybe see that. I was also thinking that when it comes to weather moves, that maybe weather moves could become permanent. Like, if you use Z Rain Dance, it still gives you speed, because that's, like, one of the coolest combo things I've ever seen, but it makes the weather permanent. Kind of like the old 5th generation weather. 5th generation weather used to be permanent. That Pokemon comes in with Sandstream, sweet. That Pokemon, I guess there were less Pokemon that could actually set weather with their abilities and stuff, so it made it a bit more niche, but I mean, weather just dominated. I mean, everything was Drizzle, Politoed, Swift Swim, Kingdra, boom, that was your meta, just like that. And then like Drought Ninetales, because that was when Ninetales had to be used because of that drought. And then Charizard Y came in and ruined everything. So I think you can maybe make it to where you get one Z move. So I think because these new Z moves, all the other Z moves need to be rebalanced in some kind of way. And it's also kind of looking at the exclusive moves as well. Will Trick or Treat? Will Force Curse? Will these get other effects? You know, will Z Trick or Treat? Will that set Trick Room? Will Z Force Curse? Will that just kind of set Grassy Terrain? Because it kind of makes sense, and then it already has the boosting that we've seen. Komodo's using an exclusive move. Like, this is another weird thing. Is it that if it's an exclusive move, will it just +1 to all the stats anyways? Like Clanging Scales, that's an exclusive move, and that's getting a Z move buff. Stone Edge, that's not an exclusive move, so it's getting a secondary effect on a fairly exclusive and very mechanics Pokemon like the Lycanroc. Lycanroc has been treated very special, so maybe that's why choosing a move like Stone Edge that many other Pokemon get access to, it's just a fairly mundane move overall. So are there going to be changes to the existing moves, stuff like that? How would that factor in? But I think that permanent weather, you can still override it. You just bring in another weather setting Pokemon and then you override it, but it is something that's like, it's like, okay, I can save my weather Z move once I remove their weather Pokemon. You know, maybe they're just going for sacrifice weather, get the quick sunny day, and then they're going to try to play off of that. Then you come in and say, nope, I have rain for the rest of the battle. Get ready for this ridiculous rain team, but I use my Z move, so you can come in, set up Komodo 1+1 to every stat, and then still sweep me, or something like that. Looking at some of the other ones, it's also hard to tell like what kind of effects we're in for. We have some weird ones, Nature's Madness going to 75%, like just costing a Pokemon 75% of its health. That's kind of ridiculous. Some Z moves, they're just meant to be absolute nukes in one shot. Some have extra little effects tagged in, but I think that we're going to see like a crazy rewrite of a lot of things up until this point. But yeah, if we have exclusive Z moves for Pokemon, what about exclusive Z moves for moves? Like we just have Gravitium Z, you know, you can use this on any Pokemon that has Gravity, and then that also gives a ridiculous effect on top of it. Maybe the same for Trick Room or other moves as well. So it's kind of like, instead of just having the other options, because like, oh, then why don't you just use Psychium Z Gravity? Or why wouldn't Psychium Z Gravity have that effect? Maybe by having the specialized move effect, you know, if you have Psychium Z, I could either have it on Psychic or Gravity. If I need the special attack boost as well as a Gravity effect, I can use it on that. If I want to turn Psychic into a higher base power move to KO the opponent, I can use that as well. So you're restricting the freedom. Just kind of saying, I'm only using it for this one move for this status, and then maybe getting a little bit of an extra effect out of it for that gamble. I don't know, that's kind of awkward right there. I've also been looking into mean look effects. Like, I would like it that if you use the Z move, trap the opponent. I kind of recommended this on Z First Impression. You know, we have Verlisify. It comes in, Z First Impression, maybe gets the fake out effect, maybe gets +2 to its speed or something, and then it traps the opponent. So now you're locked in until it either emergency exits out or you die. Maybe some other moves, like, you know, maybe that would be another thing, like Z Trick or Treat. You know, Z Trick or Treat triggers mean looks. That way they're stuck as a ghost type Pokemon, which kind of sucks for them because you get to hit them super effective with stab. You gain +1 to all your stats off that Trick or Treat, and they're stuck in. So it's not like they could just kind of switch out that Z Trick or Treat, counter you with like a normal type Pokemon, or just resist even your +1 everything hit and then come in and revenge you. At least if you do that against the right Pokemon, it can guarantee a KO as well as potential more stats for a Pokemon like the Gourgeist, or maybe a Smeargle if it wants to do that effect. So I just kind of see stacking effects together ever since the removal of that terrain. I would like to see those underused mechanics. I understand that like trapping moves don't get used as much as trapping abilities, but I feel that, you know, just giving trapping to something that doesn't already have a trapping ability, that can be pretty nice, add a little bit of extra, like, balance and intrigue to the game. Same with, like, just the other moves that we don't see a lot more. Then instead of making it ability only, you can kind of use your Z move to kind of give that Pokemon secondary ability to trigger it and then have a couple things add on. I think that's it. I'll saw a lot of people saying, like, exclusive thing for Sarina, you know, uses Z Trop Kick, gains stats. Again, 72 on the speeds, like, +1 speed wouldn't be the best for Sarina, but it would still be better than nothing. It's like, how many stats could you get away with on the Z Trop Kick? +2 attack, +2 speed. Would that be too broken? I don't know. Komodo gets +1 to everything. So there we go, guys. If you have any other ideas, I think it's just like a deep dive in the mechanics, you know? Gravity's a thing, Topsy-Turvy's a thing, Mean Look's a thing, those other exclusive moves at +1 to everything. Like, there's a lot of things that we're aware of, but maybe if they just got a little bit more spotlight, you know, stuff like that. People are talking about Wonder Room, like, we start getting into like Wonder Room embargo. Yo, adding an embargo effect to something. I don't know what Pokemon would use an embargo effect, but that would be pretty sick. It's like, oh, now you can't use your item. and I just got a Z move for absurd damage or field condition or something. Maybe double embargo. That's a move that hits both opponents, applies double embargo effect in double, and that means they either have to switch out or they just have no items, and now it's a 2v2 and the opponent has no items, and that's really bad. So there we go, guys. Just kind of breaking down what could be going on with Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Check out the exclusive Z moves, having a little bit of fun with it. So, guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.